Hello, everyone. My name is Primetime Moff, and I am joined by the incredible, the wonderful. Every week we just get better. See, next week I think we should just start dogging each other, giving each other cheek. So we're being too nice. But this week I'm joined by the wonderful Oddimus Prime. Now, whether you're watching us or indeed you're listening to us, we welcome you to our weekly show, Transformers 84 to 24, 40 years of rolling out. Show that in the year of the brand's 40th anniversary, we're looking back, we're delving into the vast history of Transformers, looking back week on week through the years of Transformers. Each show we'll chat through the franchise, and we'll have some special episodes throughout the year as well. So, before we begin, please like, subscribe, turn on your notifications to ensure you don't miss anything on this incredible journey. Mr. Oddimus Prime, how are you?
I am fantastic. Yes.
Thank you very much. So, last week we started into the Beast era. We are continuing this week with 1997. We realised last week that we were kind of fine for time, so we're going to try and be better this week. We may succeed, we may fail as we go through another interesting year in the Beast War. So I shared that last week that 97 was when I first came into Beast Wars, or the toys more so, from being at university in 97, getting a chance to pick up some cheap toys and being blown away by the basic class. But this is also the year, so the first year had your kind of main bots from the show that we talked about last week, and it had the first kind of 17 episodes of the first season. In this season, you get the rest of season one. So it's kind of episode 18 to 26. And then you have the first couple episodes. So I think it's actually 1 to 5 of the second season. And that the one thing that I always take away from this show was that it had a genuine kind of cliffhanger feel to the end of the one season, had then a change into the second season. And this season absolutely had that in spades of, you think you know what's going on, you think you know how the show is going, the premise, the characters, and then let's start changing it up. So, what are your memories of the kind of end of the first season and into the second season of Beast Wars?
It's a little bit of a blur, I'm not gonna lie. But the end of the first season is where Primal gets blasted off into space. And the not Unicron. Oh, what were they called? The
Vox, all right?
the
Right.
Vox, that was it, yeah. Um yeah, I think what I remember most about the end of season one is the beginning of season two. Less so than the end of season one, because obviously you have the Energon surge that leads to the well, what we're going to talk about a little bit later. Although are they two? It's three transmetals.
So transmetals are not series. Transmetals are series two, but the toys are not 1997, which confused the life
Yes,
out of me at
that
first.
was
The toys are next week, which is a shame because the transmetal toys are my favourite subline of any toy set of any line, and it's
mm.
the only toy set that I have every single toy of. But we'll talk about that next week.
Yes,
So
yes.
yes,
So
it is where we see you talked about it last week about Rat Trap becoming wheelie. Well, guess what? Spoilers. You've not seen it. Yeah, so but it does something that previous Transformers lines didn't really do. Okay, we had in the movie, we have Hot Rod turning into Rodimus Prime. We have, this becomes a debate of who turns into who from the to Cyclonus and Scourge. We're not going to do that, but there's a transition of character to character. There's
mm.
a Megatron into Galvatron, and certainly there's a Galvatron has traits of Megatron, but doesn't really signpost him as being the same character. Whereas,
Mm.
and Hot Rod is certainly Rodimus Prime, Rodimus Prime is certainly Hot Rod. In this, it absolutely is that, Megatron gets a new mode, Rat Trap gets a new mode, Dinobot doesn't. Who gets new modes? Pterosaur, Pterosaur get a new mode? No, he doesn't. He gets a toy, but he doesn't get a new mode. So you've got Megatron gets his new mode. Optimus gets a new mode. Rat
Cheetor.
Trap, Cheetor. Oh my God, Cheetor's new mode. Oh, what a
Yeah.
beautiful. So
Does Rhinox in the show?
no, no, no.
No.
He gets a transmetal toy. So does a Pterosaur. The Pterosaur's transmetal toy is actually, and again we'll talk about it in future weeks, but one of the absolute best. But no, I didn't get a bit. But we start to then kind of see some more crazy and wacky stuff. So, but that's more the rest of season two. So we'll kind of talk about a bit more season two next week. But that first transition, we talked about the show set itself out with its first episode of what's it kind of going to be about. The first season leading into the second season made you kind of realize that this show is not going to be something that just sticks with the norm. It's going to change things up. It's going to bring things in. It's going to bring new characters in. It's going to bring new bits in. And it was really clever and really well done. And certainly a joy to see that unfold, see the story and see the explanation of actually how are they doing it. They're not just selling new. I mean, they are just selling new toys, but not in the same way that the previous ones did. And it continues with the theme of we're not going to throw every character in, but equally then, as we just talked about, it gives you toys of characters or examples of things that didn't happen, like Rhinox, like Pterosaur. It goes through it. Waspinator. Waspinator gets an incredible transmetal toy next season, but it doesn't. The transition doesn't just go, let's change every one of your characters. So it kind of does what the movie did with, let's kill off some of your characters. Let's transition these characters across, but without. Let's transition them over, but not all of them. Let's keep a core to give you that kind of same bit. So that's an interesting bit. This year is also the first. I'm going to see if I'm right here. I'm just make sure I'm right. I'm sure I'm right. I'm going to say it. This is the first Western Transformers video game release in this year since the original kind of Spectrum one, because they had Famicom ones that I think they were only Japanese, if I'm right. They didn't ever have any UK European ones. So I think it was only the original Spectrum. I think it was Commodore 64 as well. But we got Beast Wars Transformers on PlayStation this year.
We
Did you play the
did.
game?
Now, here's the thing. I distinctly remember owning it. I remember the box with the green and it had basically the box art from the back of the figures of the red
Yeah.
and the sort of the dinosaur eye and the Beast Wars logo. I think I had a PC version of it.
Yeah, it did come out PC
Perhaps.
because I had the PC version. I had the PC version.
And I think my PC at the time was too pants to run it, so I never actually played it. Yeah, I seem to remember getting it. I definitely had it.
Yeah.
In fact, I've probably got it in the loft, but I cannot say I ever actually played it. I
It
probably
was
did, but I don't
it
really
was
remember
okay.
it.
It was okay. It wasn't spectacular, but a lot of the
It's
people look back on PlayStation games and a lot more fondly than sometimes they should, because some of them are not very great. But it was good fun to kind of see that for a line that, as we talked about last week, almost was an experiment for Hasbro. There was rumors for a long time that, and this year's a good year to talk about it, that it was a test mark of let's test Beast Wars and let's test Machine Wars and let's see what wins. That absolutely was not the case. There's evidence of the time frames of these being developed that was not the case, that they were doing that. The Beast Wars, obviously, as we can see with the console game, it had a lot of marketing behind it. You're not going to give license. It's not as if these games just take 2 months to create. This stuff would all been in plan before even Machine Wars is ready to drop. And we'll talk about Machine Wars in a bit when we get into the toys. But it certainly was a full-fledged attack, and showed that there was support behind it. There was desire for it to be a bigger not a bigger stamp. Well, I suppose a bigger stamp on mass media than your G2 had been. The G2 didn't have any comics, didn't have any stuff. This had tie-in video game, tie-in cartoon, and really waiting for it with the kind of toys as well. So I think we should start talking about the toys because we waffled so much with toys last week that we ran out of time. So let's bring up the toys, and I will share screen when I work out how to share screen again. Every time we do these, I think I should know how to do this, and then I forget how to do it. So share screen, and I want to share my little presentation. Okay, Simon, let me know when you can see this. We'll start chatting.
So I would always bow.
So the first bit we're going to go on, the same as we did last week, we're kind of going to go through the size classes in the same vein. And that's a good point that done last week. This is the first time that they really talked about them being size classes. They were on the boxes. They told you exactly what they were. You knew that you were buying a basic class or a voider class, whatever they be. We get to the bigger bits as we go on. So this year had 7 different basic classes. And whilst they didn't have this kind of same push on repaints as the other classes, this one certainly has its first proper repaint with the fantastic pterosaur becoming Laserbeak, which is a beautiful colouring in purple and red.
Oh, yeah.
You've got Air Razor, who comes from the show. So you look at this line of 7, and there's only one that's on the show. Again, it shows that I think if this had been an 80s cartoon, every week it'd be, "Hi, Clawjaw, what are you doing here? We didn't know you were here before." It doesn't push into that. But some absolute crackers. Spittor's are an absolute favourite for mine. I think Spittor's great. And we'll talk in weeks to come about the repaints of these getting slightly different colours for different special releases. The Spittor I have is not that colour Spittor. But that mould is a fantastic mould. Clawjaw, Razor Claw, some absolute crackers in this line. Did you have any of these in the day, Simon?
Not in the day. Again, the most of the Beast Wars, I can tell you all the ones I had at the time, and most of them will come up later, so we'll get onto that. But most of the basic ones I didn't actually get till much later on. I think later on I had all of these. Also, one thing of note, not that it's massively important, but if you know me and things that I like, one thing I love is translucent plastic. And you do have some really funky looking translucent plastic in these guys. Razor Claw has sort of a translucenty purpley. Drill Bit Shell is sort of a translucenty gold, and Spittor's got some bits on his arms and legs, and it's lovely, and I love it. Clawjaw is mental.
Clawjaw is mental. Actually, that's a great way. Yes, Clawjaw is bizarre. Razor Claw is beautiful. Razor Claw is. I've never owned it. Every time I've seen it, I've went, I should just buy this. Then I'm like, I know if I buy that, I'll then go, and because I never had these, I never had any of these ones, these basics. And I know if I bought Razor, well, as I said, I had the repaints of them when they came out, the kind of video ones later on. But Razor Claw is always the one that appeals to me the most. The way his shell looks is just beautiful. Really nice.
I think when I went through my spate of buying loads of lots of Transformers to try and get a complete Beast Wars set several years ago, I was just buying lots off of different people for peanuts before people cottoned on for the fact that they can sell them for more. Foolish people. I think at one point I had 7 Clawjaws. It seemed to be the figure that everybody picked up in their collections and then sold on. It's not awesome, no. I think out of the 7, I only had 2 that had his weird antenna claw thing weapon. Yeah, absolute. Yeah, yeah. I think the most boring out of them is Drill Bit, though. He's just
Agree.
a,
Agree. Well, but
a bit boring.
mhm. The
Anyway.
one bit we should have noted actually in last week's
Mhm,
as well is that we are using these images from Transformerland. We have talked about Transformerland before.
mhm,
Transformerland has been great resource for us prepping
mhm.
these episodes, but it's also an expensive bit because my toy list for TFAing gets bigger and bigger every week when we look at repaints and stuff of them. And this is a line that has that, when we get to the kind of summit exclusive. So let's go into the next class then, essentially. So
Hey.
next one on our then is the
Yep.
the combiners. You talked about these last week, and I this is way over 20 years ago, and I still was jealous because I wanted both of these and never saw them to pick up. And you were talking about how you had them selling when you were where you were working, and I'm just like, even now, going, "Oh, I'm so jealous. Magna Boss has always been one I would love to get. And when they started doing the Beast Wars reissues, I was praying to the Hasbro gods, and they didn't listen because I think the only ones I've ever really seen in more recent years have not been great condition, and it's a toy. I don't massively stress with condition. This is one that I want a pristine copy of to enjoy. Um, I just think it looks absolutely crazy, bonkers, and everything that I love about Beast Wars in it.
Yeah. So I was working in 1997. I started working at Games Workshop, and I was only a part timer, and I didn't get enough hours, so I worked as well part time at the toy shop around the corner, because they were selling model kits, and they got me in to make and paint model kits to put in their cabinet. So I spent my day at work making and painting Star Trek model kits and other stuff. It was great. Then I got
Sounds like
involved
the
a bit
greatest
in the
job
shop
ever.
a bit more. It there were downsides. But yeah, basically the shop didn't make any money. But anyway, part of that was because they started talking to me about what we should order. So I was like, "Oh, you should get some Transformers and Star Wars figures and all sorts of other stuff." And so we went to we got a load of the Beast Wars stuff in, and the Beast Wars stuff came in, and I bought it all on staff discount. So that helped the shop lots. Um, I basically, yeah, I got pretty much everything that we got in. Not all of it, but I got a Magnaboss, I got a Tripredicus, I got a Megatron, I got a Primal, and I got a couple of the deluxes. I didn't get any of the basics at this point. I think I got Waspinator, and who else did I get in deluxe? When we get to the deluxes, I'll let you know. I think I've got a couple of the megas as well, which we'll get onto in a minute. But Magnaboss, as you say, he's just a stonking figure. Now, the thing that awesome looking robot mode there does not tell you is that it is an absolute pain in the bum pig of a toy to transform. There is no
I've heard
logic to it.
that.
It is absolutely so. Like Ironhide, who's the elephant, he like explodes, and then you have to try and cram Silverbolt inside him, and then you kind of have to
That was
cram.
some way to
Oh, who's
explain it. Cram him inside him.
well? Look, the front
I
of
know, I
him,
know,
right?
I know.
The legs are his are Ironhide's legs. The front of Magnaboss and the tusks that come up around his head. That's the bottom of Ironhide, and then the back is the rest of Ironhide. So you've then got two other bots just jammed
Yeah,
into the middle of
yeah.
him. And who's the lion dude? I forgot what the lion dude's called. Anyway, wow. Um,
Yes, yeah.
obviously, yeah. So this guy is made up of three G1 Transformers, sort of. Um, but he looks amazing. Got that big face on the lion's mane, making him look like a
Mhm.
big wonderful flowing locks, and he looks awesome, and I absolutely love him, and he's great an imposing figure on the shelf. He's got an amazing sword made up of all the bits. He's got missiles that come out just underneath his boobs. He's awesome. And then you've got Tripredicus, who looks like somebody fell over and landed on a bunch of insects and tried to put them back together. He is
Do you know what he looks like?
atrocious.
He looks like Sid from Toy Story has got transformed, got Beast Wars figures and went,
Yeah.
here's what I'm going to do. It doesn't have, Magnavox, you're saying they're jammed together. You can see them having a
Oh,
kind of form. Try,
yeah.
try, 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 oh, I don't
Tripredicus.
try Predicus. At all. It does not have that feel at all. It just looks a bit.
No.
It's just like push them together.
He's
Your combining mode is use super glue to hold them in place.
he's just horrible. He looks like an accident. He's just somebody who collects dead insects. Just got a bit drunk one night and started sticking them together. Um, he's also horrible to transform, and then there's no posability, and also both hands are made up of insect parts. Magnaboss, he's got hands that can hold guns. Tripredicus, he's got flappy bits, clawy bits, and curvy bits, and hooky bits that all don't really match up. And they're just like, how are we going to make the hands? Let's do this.
Right,
And,
let's move on to the next ones then, because we've got
yes, sorry.
loads. We've got another kind of line to talk about this week, so let's move on. So we've gone to our deluxe class, and we have a bit of repainting here. So we've got K9's a repaint. Is K9's a repaint, isn't he? Of
Kane has a repaint of the Wolf one from last season.
Wolfgang.
Wolfgang, thank you.
Grimlock's a repaint of Dinobot,
Mhm.
which happens at other points throughout this bits. We've got Bone Crusher, who is a bison and is a mad but fun toy. Cyber Shark, which is a shark. Like, you can't complain about a shark transformer. That's amazing.
Cybershark is my favorite.
Yeah, Cyber Shark's brilliant fun. Manterror, and then Retrax. And Retrax is not my favorite, but his curled up mode always makes me think of Mad Balls, and I love Mad Balls, so always makes me smile. I think out of these ones, K9's pretty fun. I don't have Wolfgang, I had K9. I have Bone Crusher. Bone Crusher's an outstanding toy. I love it. I think it's a great toy. But Cyber Shark, probably out of these six, is maybe the standout. I don't know. This is always so hard. And then
Yeah.
we go on to the Mega Class. So I'm going to go through the classes and then we'll chat a wee bit more about them. So the Mega Class, we've got Baboom, which is a baboon. Not a baboon. What is he? Is he a baboon? Oh, I'm
He's
terrible.
a baboon, yeah.
And then we
Yeah.
have Inferno. Inferno is an outstanding toy, and an outstanding character. And then Transquito, who is weird, and there's something about the toy that's just fun.
Yeah.
I really enjoy them. The bit that I never had any of these, the microverse playsets.
No.
I don't remember ever seeing them. Don't know if they ever had a UK release. They might not have. I've never seen
I
them. It
think
wasn't
they
until
did.
later that I saw them online. And then I'm going to go. So right, so we went through our Beast Wars. So we had. I'm going to quickly back through them. So we had our basics. Basics, our combiners, our deluxe class, our mega class, and the microverse playsets. Anything stand out for you from this set of Beast Wars figures?
Again, so the ones the back to the ones that I had, basically me and my best mate sort of shared them between us. One of us will get ones. I think I was getting Predacons actually because I ended up with Tripredicus and Inferno and Megatron, and he got Baboom and Magnaboss and Optimus. But the Cybershark was my standout from the deluxes, and Inferno, as you said, oh, he's just amazing. I always
Isn't it?
wanted Mantera though. I didn't see Mantera till quite a few years later, and I love praying mantises and also
Yeah.
Retrax. I always wanted him. I got the reissue recently, and he's
So that,
awful. Um,
yes, it's awful. But
I
again, I
was
still enjoy it because
quite
it kind
glad.
of feels like a mad ball. But
Uh,
yeah, it was not. not the
Yeah,
best of figures.
yeah. Cybertruck and Retracts are sitting on my desk at work. I love them. Yeah. So that was those. Um, let's move on then
Yeah,
to one thing to say about Transquito
go,
very, very
go for it.
quickly. The thing I loved about him, he is a big mess. He's absolutely awful to transform, does not stand up, his legs are everywhere. I love his wings, but my favorite thing is that his face looks like a predator.
I haven't even really thought about that, but yeah, that's a very valid
He's
point.
got like four tusks and
Yeah.
a ridgy kind of head. He looks like a predator. Anyway.
And some of the toys we'll get in the future weeks. There are some horrific looking, awful looking toys that are just fun because they're awful. But let's
Oh,
talk about some fun.
last
Oh,
quick thing
sorry,
to
go.
mention. Sorry, last possible promise. The last thing. They got rid of the mutant faces
They did,
for
yep.
this line. That was one thing they got rid of, and they just went for, look, let's not have a additional gimmick. Let's just make really cool toys.
And then they actually changed that totally. Go mad gimmicks in the next season.
Oh yeah,
Which
yeah, yeah.
so much fun, so much fun. So we then have an American only release now. American only because some of these molds are European releases. Already had European releases, but they then brought them out in America. And we talked about this when we went through previous bits of let's release toys with two kind of colouring variations to maximize the molds at the end of G2. And this is exactly what they did with the basic class of Machine Wars. So Machine Wars has 8 different basic class, and again transitions the class names over from the Beast Wars, and kind of gives it that. And it's something that we're so synonymous with toys now. We always think of what the class size is and what toy it is, rather than, as you said before, that we just had the Autobot cars with the mini bots, which the mini bots were a class, but it wasn't as if that was called. They're just called the mini bots. So you've got again some some G1 names coming back in this. So you've got like Skywarp, Thundercracker, Prowl, Mirage, Hubcap, Hoist, Megaplex, and then Megatron. So again, 2 Megatrons in this year line, or not 2 Megatrons. This is the Megatron of this year. When we talk about Megatrons and Optimuses, I haven't had in hand any of the Machine War stuff. I covet something that's on the next page, and I will pick up at some point. But I have experienced the Megatron mold from G2, and it was a really nice one. I haven't experienced any of the rest of them. Do you have any? Have you had any of the Machine Wars? Because you wouldn't have had them when they were first out, obviously.
No, no, I don't. I don't really. I don't. I remember seeing them in the shops vaguely around the time of Beast Wars and thinking, oh, there's a second Transformers line, and oh, these are all a bit pony. I think we got them over here at Toys R Us, maybe. I know they're
Yeah,
at
I think we
KB
got them.
Toys
I think we
exclusive in
got.
America.
My understanding is that we didn't get them at the same time. We got them. If they got them 97, we got them kind of 98. But I could be
Yeah.
entirely wrong. I didn't ever see them in the shops. I've only seen them online, and then I saw the bigger ones at Auto Assembly, and I think I saw them at TF Nation. And I've always been like, oh, should I buy? But never really been excited by them. But if we go on to the next screen, we go on to the Mega Class. So your Mega Class is Rotorstorm repainted to Sandstorm. It is, who's Soundwave repainted from?
Oh, yeah, him.
Um,
I
yep,
forgot his name.
by Andy Cousins. I can't remember his name either. Then you have the Ultra Class, which is probably the safer way to get the Thunder Clash mold and the Optimus Prime. And very
Yes.
much, we talked about it with Thunder Clash coming out, that it felt like that's what it was meant to be. That mold felt like it was meant to be an Optimus Prime, so this is a chance for them to actually give us it as an Optimus Prime. And then we have Stalker, same way as Stalker.
Yes.
Now, I literally just remembered Starscream's name, and then went, Stalker, and now I can't remember what Starscream was.
Skyquake.
Skyquake, so it's one of their Skyquake with. So Skyquake. So these appealed to me. Sandstorm is not the I prefer the original colours. I prefer Rotorstorm. I think
Yeah,
Rotorstorm's colours
yeah.
are absolutely stunning. The Soundwave, I want this Soundwave, and I want there's a Universe Soundwave as well. A repaint of that mold as well. So I do have a desire for these. I got the Fans Hobby one, and it made that desire even worse. I did have Stalker, and got rid of Stalker at one point. So I know the mold and I like the mold, so I want that. And I really too, really want the Optimus Prime because I would love a Thunder Clash, but it terrifies me as a toy. I don't want to spend the money on something that I fear. Whereas this is a bit more, probably more
Yeah.
affordable as well. Actually, to be fair, let's be honest, but as less of a scare. And then Skyquake was an outstanding figure. It's so interesting. They've taken toys that were so vibrant, so bright, so in your face, and dulled them down. Not as entirely a bad thing because I think the Starscream, that mold has got another version. I'm sure it had a universe version as well as King Atlas, I think.
Mm.
And the Rotorstorm mold got another one. The Optimus Prime one or the Thunder Clash mold, it's only the Thunder Clash and Optimus Prime versions of. And again, there's a bit of me is like, when we talk about repaints and reissues, I'd love for them to go back and do some of these stuff. I think everybody feels that now is go back and do some of the kind of later Transformers like G1 and
Yeah.
G2 molds and give us some stuff that you just don't expect. Don't continually give us, and I say this as a Soundwave fan, but we don't need 17 different reissues of Soundwave. We don't need, take this in the nicest way, we don't need 20 reissues of Optimus Prime. It would be nice for now and again for them to go, oh, actually, or give us Optimus Primes, but give us the different Optimus Primes. Give us Laser Optimus Prime. Give us this Optimus Prime. Give us some stuff that people wouldn't expect. And I kind of hope that in the year's 40th, we might have got that. I thought that we might get a kind of, because we're going to, in future weeks, we'll talk about RID, which was like a best of series at that point. I thought we might get that this year. I thought we might get a best of, and they might have released a little bit
It's
of
the HasLab.
everything.
Yeah.
HasLab, yeah, but general release, like, there's the only reissues we've had are, I suppose not a reissue, the Missing Link, but you've had Missing Link Optimus, you've had 40th anniversary Soundwave and Blaster. Nothing of these later lines. It'd have been nice to kind of do
No.
a greatest hits of throughout the generations, but
Yeah.
there's still time to go. We might see stuff come out. So
Potentially. I
all
just
great
think
fun. Sorry.
the most baffling thing to me is the fact that we went from these vibrant colors, like you said, to literally grays and browns.
Yes.
Honestly,
Yeah. How do you?
baffling.
But I think 90s, early 90s was very neon. Let's be honest, it was very neon,
Yeah.
shell suits, all that kind of stuff. Later 90s didn't have that feel. It kind of started to tailor off that. The appeal of that wasn't there, and is that the concern that they put them out in those vibrant colours?
Possibly.
They're not going to
Yeah.
shift.
And then even if you look at the picture of Soundwave with all of his rusty kind of glory, it's almost
Mm.
grim dark. They sort of went, oh, let's go all dark and gritty. Anyway,
Yeah.
quick, moving on.
So I'm going to. So a wealth of toys, wealth of Beast Wars, and then some Machine Wars kicking in. Again, some absolutely crackers, some really cool gimmicks and some really good posability. The cartoon, I think we'll come back at some point and we'll do a proper delve into the cartoon in the bit because we could easily spend the 40 minutes and we were confident we're trying to stay away from that so we can focus a bit more on the toys. But you can see that Beast Wars is really starting to get its stride at this point. Starting to see the toys getting more. You're starting to see the video game come out, and it just gets better as we go on. So before we delve into 98, 99, and then into the 2000s, which feels bizarre to be getting to a 2000 conversation, let's wrap up this week's stuff. So highlights for this week for you, Simon. What is your top toy of this year?
Inferno. He's
It's a
got
damn good choice.
all of the things going for him. He's an amazing fire ant beast mode. His robot mode is super posable. He's got such an expressive, maniacal, bonkers face, and his bum rotates and has a rocket in it. And what's not to love?
No, and
And also,
I
his
guess
character in the show is amazing.
Yes, yeah.
For the
How could you not
royalty.
love? How could you not love Inferno in the show? Like it just was impossible. You couldn't not. So,
Yeah.
but I could say that for all the characters. Let's be honest, there's a bit of something in every one of them. For me, I think I go Bone Crusher. I just because it's just a bit mad. Um, and it's hard. It's been hard to pick on these episodes of what is. I think Inferno definitely would could easily do a favorite Maximum or a favorite Predacon, and but I'm going to go Bone Crusher because it's still even just digging through the my box of Beast War stuff to bring some stuff out for in prep for this. Picked up Bone Crusher and it made me smile, and I thought actually that's the one for this year.
I don't know whether it's the fact that he is a buffalo or a bison or whatever he is, but I always got sort of Native American vibes off of him
Simon, do you know
in
what the
robot
difference
mode,
between do you
definitely.
know what the difference between a buffalo and a bison is?
No.
You can't wash your hands on a buffalo.
Oh my God.
Oh, God. Oh, can't wait till Greg
Well,
hears that and slags me for that one. Yeah.
well, I
uh,
suppose one of us had to start doing dad jokes.
I know, I
Um,
know, I know.
thank you. That was good.
Oh, but listen, so thank you very much for joining us this week. That has been a look back at Transformers in 1997. Really interesting to delve into Machine Wars. Again, something that is on the list for TFN and doesn't get any smaller. That list doesn't get any smaller. But we hope you enjoyed it. You know, we encourage you to go and have a look more at the robot modes and spend some time looking at some of the toys. You know, especially if you've not seen these before, and if you're going to TFN, some of these are dirt cheap. Pick some of them up, have fun with them, especially the basic class. There's some cheap, fun toys out there for you to experience for the first time. We ask, you know, going forward, please, if you have enjoyed this, like, subscribe, turn on your notifications, make sure you keep up to date with all of our content. As we've said before, we produce weekly episodes. So we've got Talking Robots Tuesdays, where I'll talk about, you know, what toy would I like to experience that I've not before. We have retro reviews. Now we certainly have no excuse for no prime time with Oddimus Prime because there's crimes every week, crimes every week. So make sure you just keep up to date with this, the channel, subscribe, and keep following us along. Thank you very much for those who have subscribed. That's been our look, and I look forward to speaking to you next week as we delve into 1998. Take care, all.
Bye.